Hi, welcome to my first ever episode of Growing Up. Today, we will discuss conception, my experience with it, and the things I've learned along the way. I first want to give a shout out to my friend Amy for these amazing earrings. Bespoke Janae. Luckily for me, I have a 3-year-old, so I have already conceived successfully once in my life. Having one child is amazing, and it's just the most blessing for me. But yeah, I really want more. Hey, I really want another one. So in the beginning of this year, my partner and I, we have actively started family planning. We got everything that we needed. I did all the research on Google, like we always do. I bought the ovulation sticks and I downloaded the app. So we had to have sex 5 days before my ovulation day, and as well as 1 day after my ovulation day. So then after 2 months of trying, I was 2 weeks late. And so, yeah, I must be pregnant, hey? Hallelujah. And we celebrated by having sex. Then just after we had sex, I got my period. So there was no baby. The next month, I was late again, and we had intercourse again. And then I got my period again. And then I realized that there was something wrong with me. Now, there are many reasons why you can bleed or get your period after you had sex, right? Maybe you had rough sex. Maybe you were going to get your period. It was just stalling a little bit. And by the act of orgasm, you spurred it on to come. Or maybe you can even have cancer. That's now the extreme. For me, the one that was really worrisome was that maybe I am not ovulating at all. So I am 35 years old and I am a smoker. When we are still in our mommy's tummy, we have our maximum amount of eggs that we will ever have. And when we are born, that is the eggs that we have. There's no more eggs coming. And because your eggs are decreasing and the quality of your eggs are also decreasing because your ovaries' performance are not top notch anymore, that's why it becomes so difficult to get pregnant as you get older. Now, if you smoke, the smoking just accelerates your ovaries' decline in performance. I was worried that I'm the one that's not ovulating, so there must be something wrong with me. I then decided to reach out to fertility clinics. So I looked at this one clinic and they had a list of 26 treatments and tests that you can, and procedures that you can do. And for me, that was very hopeful to see that there are so many options out there for people who are struggling to get pregnant. The one that stood out for me, of course, was ovulation induction. Ovulation induction is a type of therapy that increases the number of eggs that are produced by your ovaries for each of your cycles. By increasing the number of eggs that are produced, it also increases your chances of one of those eggs being fertilized. I was very interested, and I then reached out to the clinic to discuss next steps. And the next steps was that they wanted to do a blood test to test for numerous things in my body, and then also wanted to do a semen analysis. Because as much as I knew or thought that the problem was with me, they want to have a holistic view of both people or of both partners' fertility history. I then told my partner that, they want to do a semen analysis on his sperm. And Anyway, so he said that when we really know that we really need to go that route, then he's all game. But if we don't really have to go that route, then let's review other options. Let's focus more on why I'm not ovulating. Maybe there's something that I can do differently. Maybe there's something natural that I can do differently. I also found out that there are reasons why I could possibly not be ovulating. And I do not know how to pronounce this word. So it's called amenorrhea. It's called amenorrhea. It's called amenorrhea. 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 Anyway, you get the primary one and you get the secondary one. So the primary one is when you are 15, younger than 15, and you've never had your menstrual cycle before. Then you have the primary one, and that is basically maybe a hormone level issue that you have. Then the secondary one you also get, and that one is when you have had your menstrual cycles in the past, but it just stopped for some or other reason within the past 2 or 6 months, it just stopped. And there are reasons for why that happens. Being overweight is one of the causes. Even if you are just 10 to 15% over your ideal body weight, that is a problem. That can be classified as overweight. Then there's a condition called PCOS. That's when your eggs do develop in your ovaries, but it's not released into your fallopian tube. And then with it being stuck in your ovaries, it then also develop a cyst. Then we have endometriosis. So normally there's a tissue that lines up inside of your uterus, and that's totally normal. The problem comes in is when that tissue starts to grow in other places, which includes even if it's outside of your uterus. And then we have excessive exercise, or when you are underweight, and then stress, and then also when you have early menopause and your ovaries are just not supplying any more eggs. So knowing these possible causes, I felt this is something that maybe can be resolved, and with it being any of these causes, maybe then I have to go see my gynecologist. I then booked a session with my gynecologist. I went to see him after a month or so. I got an appointment. He asked me a few questions. He checked my weight. We went into his room. He looked inside, and then he prescribed me the following. So the first thing he prescribed me was biometronidazole. And it is in this holder because it was a prescription. I had to take 1 tablet 3 times a day for 7 days. And with this one, I was not allowed to drink any alcohol. It is commonly used to treat infection of the vagina. Now, most people can have this without having any symptoms, like myself. But if you do have symptoms, it could be like you burn when you pee, your vagina smells fishy, and more so after you have sex. Your vagina is itchy. You have a thin white, gray, or green discharge. Now, any woman could get biovaginosis, or as they call it, BV, but you are at higher risk when you smoke and when you are very sexually active, and if you clean yourself down there with scented stuff or with soap. The next one he prescribed me was doxycycline, 100 milligram. It's also a tablet. It's an antibiotic. And with this one, I had to take 1 capsule twice a day for 7 days as well. And I had to avoid dairy products. Commonly used to treat bacterial infections, such as lung infections, nose and throat, UTIs, and then also STIs. So I guess I had an STI And then the last one he prescribed me was Inofolic, which is a combination, it's a health supplement that contains myo-inositol and folic acid. I used it before when I had my firstborn, and I wasn't regular for over a year. I was actually bleeding constantly for over a year. And the doctor then gave me this, and within a few months, I was regular again. So I had to take 2 sachets. There are 30 sachets within this. I had to take 2 sachets once a day. I told my partner that there will be no more intercourse up until I get my period and up until I can see that I'm regular. Lo and behold, after I finished with these tablets, I got my periods. I don't know, but I got my periods. So then I knew, okay, now I need to use this to ensure that it's regular. And 1 month after I got my period, I started to feel funny. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Now, it's still early days. Thank you guys for watching. See you at the next video.